everyone. Black coaches both at the college level who are assistants and also at the pro level who are assistants and also head coaches should band together and file a class action lawsuit against both the NCAA and the NFL. The reason is simple. There are too many African American players coming out of college and the NFL for there not to be more coaches than there are. You can still count the number of African American coaches in the NFL on basically less than two hands, and sometimes one. And at points in the past, none, because there were none. Yet, when black coaches get their chance as a coach, even today, they are still put in the position of running backs coach or wide receiver coach. And this stereotype goes on, and so you, the observer, think that because you see that, that's the way it should be, and that's the way it is, when in point of fact, that's not the case at all. A person's ability to do something depends on somebody else's decision to give that person a chance to do it. That is commonplace with white coaches. Chip Kelly is an excellent coach. I'm not taking anything away from him, but the Browns are ready to sign him, and yet there's no African American equivalent at all. You can't find an African American equivalent to Chip Kelly. Cal, when it had the chance to find a coach, could have went over to Stanford and tried to raid its staff, take either Derek Mason or Pep Hamilton, both in Derek Mason's case defensive coordinator, Pep Hamilton offensive coordinator, make them head coaching offers and basically say, hey, look, these guys are doing a great job and I want them at Cal. Both happen to be black, as is David Shaw, the head coach, black. Won the Rose Bowl. And you would say, what does color have to do with it? Well, I'll tell you what. Why not ask the question when someone white gets the job? Why are you rubber stamping the culture as it is? Why aren't you asking that question? It should be the NFL. It should be more like the NBA, where you have a good mix of coaches because you have a good mix of players and a lot of black players who played who are great minds at coaching. And so, this silliness, and that's really what it is, has to stop. And the only way to do it is through a court action. That's the only way, because either that or say, hey, more blacks should own teams. And here's the other side of the coin. You have too many African American players who don't speak up and don't do anything. They keep their mouths shut, and they make their money, and a lot of times, unfortunately, they go broke. And so they go through the league, they get used, they get washed up, they come out, nothing. And the ones that do make the money, they spend it on themselves. They don't do anything to advance anybody that's black who's younger and say, I'm going to put some money and make sure these guys go forward, or gals, or what have you, and do anything. And, I go back, I'm going to say something very, very blunt. My last name is Abraham, which is Jewish. For a time, I was getting letters from Hillel because people thought I was, 100% Jew. And when you get letters from Hillel, you get offers for scholarships, help from other families. You have people who take care of each other. And they say, we know we're going to take care of you. But as African Americans, we don't do that. And so you have to have a base. And the whole point is, let me take that a step further. It's not a matter of who I date or anything else. That's where we have the equation wrong. Remember Rob Parker at ESPN when he was attacking Robert Griffin III? That was wrong. Rob Parker didn't have the courage to attack the overarching culture and say, hey, look, here's the real problem. Instead, he attacks Robert Griffin III, who's a perfect role model example of how you want your kid to be regardless of color, as not being black enough. I heard that when I was a kid. I detested it. So there's enough blame to go around everywhere. The culture is this way not because of somebody white. It's because of people both white and black. Blacks who are afraid to have leadership roles because they think it's a white thing to do. I'm not kidding you, okay? Or they think that someone who talks like me talks white, and then someone else white who's more comfortable seeing someone white in a position of being a head coach. That is the problem. And not only that, it's not just white, blacks, everybody else in between, Asian, Hispanic, everyone else who buys into this cultural ethic. The only way to change it is through a lawsuit. That's it. Because otherwise, this is going to go on and on for generation after generation, and you're going to have more black kids that are just damaged in the head because they don't understand their true value. And that hurts everybody, not just people who are black.